Yes, yes, yes. More yeses. More yeses. Yes, the United States government is evil. Yes, it is treasonous. Yes, it is insane. Now I talk about it like it's a thing, like an inanimate object, like a cup or a spoon or a rock. The government is made up of people, and people that are evil, criminals, collaborators with the enemy, etc., and betrayers of humanity, betrayers of American citizens. I mean, Americans. Citizen of the state in which you reside, according to the law. Constitution or something says that. Yeah, you are a citizen of the state in which you reside. That's the law. And so if you say, oh, I'm a citizen of America, you're kind of stretching it just a little, because I don't think you'll find that in the law anywhere. The Constitution. So, I was talking about yes in the previous episode of the show. So, Archer Monologues, of course. And I'm D. McClung. And I apparently like to talk. And occasionally I like to rant. Like yell loud, talk loudly and say curse words and stuff. And you'll notice that there's no sign on my radio show that says explicit language or whatever, because I don't do ratings. I don't do censorship at all. I'm pretty much uncensored. Well, I'm not. I'm no censor myself. I don't. Rein in my own spirit and say, "Hey, I can't say that." Why not? Because it wouldn't be nice. It would affect somebody's sensitivities and hurt their feelings. Guess what? You don't have a right not to be offended, asshole. So, deal with it. About the only thing that you have any recourse against is if somebody libels you, slanders you, or defames you, in which case, if you can prove that they did that, and then you can go to court and sue them for that. And I'm suing you for libel or slander or whatever. And I'm going to win because I'm right. And you did. And I can prove it. And then if the person that said something about you that wasn't true, that hurt your reputation or caused you some kind of loss, physically, financially, or emotionally, or whatever, then sue them. And I know you can't sue everybody, because like in America, it's like millions of people going around in, committing, saying insulting, not true things about other people. Like when somebody calls me an idiot. I mean, I should sue them because, no, I'm not an idiot. But I can't sue everybody. I'd be just 24/7 for the next 100 years suing all these people. There's a lot of them. But D, didn't you just say in the previous episode that freedom of speech covers that? Yes. But slandering people is a civil crime. So I can seek redress of my injuries, physical, emotional, financial, or what have you. That's just the way the system is. That's the way it works. Well, it doesn't work very good, but, it's there. It's there if people wanted to use it correctly. So if someone calls me, let's say, I ruin every show by saying this word. But, gotta be said. Calling someone, I'll tone it down a little bit. Calling someone a child molester or a pervert that rapes children and shit, that's not nice. For one thing, it's not true. I've never raped anyone in my life, so I'm guessing that's a lie. And you should know that. It's a lie because you have no evidence or proof that I've ever raped anybody. And you say, rape didn't have anything to do with it. We're talking about being a pedophile and shit. Pervert. And I'm like, you don't know what the word means, because the word doesn't mean that. Excuse me? I mean, it doesn't mean that it doesn't include adolescence. And if I was going to rape anybody, I think probably teenager would be about the right age. I'm not saying I would. I'm not advocating that anybody do that. Rape somebody, I mean. It's heinous. Heinous. It's a heinous crime. It's just not nice. Don't rape people of any age. Well, I only rape adults, which means you're probably not called nasty names like people who do or think about having sex with someone under 18. We'll get into the whole Title 18 bullshit now, but Title 18 is a crime against humanity. And the senators and stuff who voted for that and made it into a law should be executed for treason and crimes against humanity. Sorry, you're just evil people. And police officers and stuff, legal system that enforce that or arrest people for stuff that they think is a crime, which isn't a crime. Because in Title 18, talking to people is a crime. In Title 18, posting a picture of yourself nude on your website, which you have every right to do, could be considered a felony if some 15-year-old girl comes along and goes to your website and sees a picture of yourself you're naked. It just, oh God, you're guilty of a felony when you do that. I mean guilty. I mean you could be accused of it. They'd have to prove it in a court of law for me to actually be guilty in a court of law, legally speaking. But people just assume stuff nowadays. It's like everybody. You read something in the newspaper or it's on the TV show, TV news stuff, about some 23-year-old guy having sex with his 17-year-old girlfriend. Oh, he's a pedophile. That's just stupid. Seriously. And if you've ever said anything like that, just fucking slap the shit out of yourself. Take a baseball bat and slap the shit out of your head with it. Thump, 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 thud, 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 until you're dead. Gee, you're pretty harsh, aren't you, D? It's a metaphor. I don't mean really. I'm an artist. I am quite familiar with the concept of metaphors and symbolism. Someone said, you're advocating people kill themselves. Yeah. Well, that's not nice. Better they kill themselves than they kill me, so to speak. I was going to talk about this policeman, this copper, this moron in, I think he's stationed somewhere in Morgantown, and his name is Officer Scott. I was going to do a whole article, a whole episode on this scumbag. Oh, but he thinks he's doing the right thing. He believes he's doing good stuff. He believes he's doing good stuff. He's a self-righteous fucking hypocrite and a disgusting person because he puts people in prison for doing what they have every natural and inalienable human right to do. Like, I'm having sex with my 17-year-old girlfriend. Duh. Fuck off. Mind your own business, Mr. Scott. Not a crime. I don't care what Title 18 says. Title 18 in the U.S. Code is wrong. Criminally wrong. Just absolutely wrong. Period. Not debatable. Period. Wrong. Beyond wrong. It's evil. Leave people the fuck alone, you Nazi fascist bastards. Leave them alone. Mind your own damn business. Meaning your business. Not my business, not his business, not that guy's business. Your business. Just you personally, you. I'm going to say this about policemen. Oh, by the way, law enforcement is a Taliban Nazi bastard word. Nazi word. It's like, that's what the Taliban does. They have enforcers walking around on the streets. Not the kind of place any civilized, decent human being would want to be and live. Certainly not a job that any decent, ethically sound, sane human being would want to do. You know, walk around putting people in jail for doing what they want to do, what they have every right to do. In a free society, you do what you want, as long as you don't hurt anybody else. And then, if you do, the person you harmed or their representative can say, you hurt that person. And so there's going to be consequences. And we're going to sue you or charge you a crime, like, say, murdering my friend or my family member or whatever. And then you're held accountable, and then you devote the rest. You're ordered by the court to, provide life sustenance to those people that survived your crime. It's a Hammurabi thing, I believe. Hammurabi. Look up Hammurabi. Hammurabi. No, I'm not going to spell it for you. Look it up. Google it. He had some principles that were pretty good at the time, I think. So, yes, 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 yes. Just yes. This is a yes day. Everything is a yes day. Well, can you do it? Yes. Do you want to do it? Yes. Is it right? Yes. Is it legal? Yes. Is it the right thing to do to be a police officer? And oh, by the way, not a law enforcement. No, that's Taliban words. That's Taliban Nazi people, Nazis. That's what Nazis did. They enforced laws. Cops, like walking around. Not judges, not God, just some fucking cop. I'm not going to talk much more. I'm not going to say anything else about Scott, Mr. Scott. And I don't mean Star Trek Scott. I mean this douchebag that goes around putting people in prison for doing nothing illegal. They didn't do any crime. They didn't. There's no crime of that in there. Just somebody made it up. It's fabricated and arbitrary. Bullshit. If you think a 17-year-old is not a grown-up, you're pretty stupid. Stupid. Seriously. If you think it's all right to go around putting people in prison for having sex with their 17-year-old girlfriend, you're an asshole. I mean, I don't even have to add a lot of descriptive words to describe this cop. One thing, he's just a fucking straight-out asshole. And he's, he's a saint, he's taking... No, he's an asshole. He's anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-nature, anti-humanity. And he's a scumbag. So if we had a word for him, asshole. I think I'm going to put up a website, create one, and build a site called assholes.com. It's probably already taken, but I'll think about it. I can probably name it, do a subdomain in one of my other websites, and just call it, assholes.dldmcclung.com. And on that site, just put pictures and information about assholes. And Mr. Scott would be on there. Along with Obama and Bush and other Bushes. These are assholes. And if you think the government should force me to live the way you think I should live, like if you're like one of them anti-abortion people, nitwit, zealot, fool, moron, idiot. Those are all opinion words, probably. Retarded isn't. It's a clinical word used to describe people with, less than average intelligence. How do I know all this stuff? Because I have a brain, and it works like a brain's supposed to, which is logically. I've actually had people say, I'm not going to go with that logic thing, I'm going to go with stupid instead. Actually, people have actually told me that. Well, they didn't use the word stupid, they used some other word, but meant stupid. Like, I'm going to go with faith, I'm not going to go with logic. And it's like, pathetic. It's just absolutely pathetic. boggles the mind. I'm going to go with stupid mythological nonsense crap and just believe that and just call you bad names because you don't believe that and because you're like intelligent, smarter than me. I mean, you're a lot smarter than me, like about 3 times smarter than you. Actually, you retard. And you calling me an idiot. How ironic is that? It's almost like what? An oxymoron. All right. Just the word is yes. Yes. I'm not even going to finish it. And, I'm not going to use the Obama phrase. Yes, we can. Or change we can live with. Which apparently some of us can't because some of us are dead because of that motherfucker. Asshole. All right. Oh, on the website, asshole.com, there would be people on there like George Bush, asshole, supreme, murdering bastard. Lost his right to live the minute he murdered innocent people anywhere on the planet. Yes. Yes, you can. Going to take a break here for a minute. You probably won't know because it'll be like a nanosecond between now when I say I'm done and I'll see you back in a minute. And as soon as I say the word minute, there's a period, and then, bing, and then I'm back again. Just that fast. Just like just now, right now. Bing, bing. Because I pushed pause and paused, and then I turned it right back on after I sneezed or whatever. I didn't sneeze today yet, but, don't like to edit. I like to just be spontaneous and say stuff. Sometimes I'll read a script, but usually I'm just winging it off the top of my head. So, forgive me if I make a slip of the tongue and say one stupid thing or one little word out of place or whatever. Because I listen to my shows and afterwards, and I do edit it in a sense, but not a lot, because usually I don't have to. What? I have to go back and edit out all the fuck words? Huh? No, not going to happen, dude. Forget that shit. Not going to happen. I said it. I meant it. I'm done. Moving on. Next phrase. All right, so I'm going to take a break now. Here goes. 1, 3, 2, 1. Stand back, and you thought, wait a minute, that was a very short minute. Nanoseconds. So, just a side note, and just put that in there. Words mean what they mean. Yes, they do. Because if they don't mean what they mean, then it's just babble. And that's what the mind benders in America are doing, and other places, is they're changing the meaning of word to mean like the opposite of what the word means, actually. It's like, let's say the word, well, there are lots of words. I could give you a list of words that they use. Like law enforcement. It doesn't mean what you think it means. It means I'm a fucking Nazi bastard and I'm going to come around and arrest you and cause you trouble. Give you a hard time and maybe mace you in the face or beat you with a club or kick you where your hands are handcuffed behind your back. Let's beat up the innocent guy and the guy that can't defend himself on the ground in handcuffs. Already bleeding from when you shot him in the back. Let's kick him in the face. Animals. Anyway, Nazis, fascists, assholes. So, all right. That wasn't even what I was going to say. I have to do the 3, 2, 1 thing again. See, what did I tell you? It's like a couple of nanoseconds. All right, I'm back. And guess what? We have donuts this morning. Yum, yum, yum. Yes. All right. Probably shouldn't eat when you're doing the radio show. Don't talk with your mouth full, boy. It can be done. It honestly can be done. But probably gross to look at. All right, then. I'm Just wanted to mention I'm putting some shows on the archives page of my website, my official D. McClung website. Well, they're all official. Duh. Yes, I have several. But this what I'm talking about is the official website of the artist D. McClung. I think the URL for that would be DELDE.McClung.com. It's my art page. But on that art page, there is a page reserved for my radio show, this one you're listening to, and all the episodes that are available are there, and there's a player. You can play the play button, hit the play button, and listen to it on my website. There's also an archive page on my website for older shows that I had to remove from active duty on the show to make room for new shows, because they only give me like 100 hours to work with. And once I've used those 100 hours, and I have, at this point, I've got like 23 minutes. Let me scroll back up to the list here, because there's like 160 some shows. Right, we've got 21 minutes left on my available time for the radio show. So what we're going to do is put some of those shows, like the older ones, putting those on the archive pages of my website. And if you go to my website, you can see it, and you can pick that. It says Archer Monologues Archives. Click on that. It'll open up all the older shows that are no longer available on the current feed for the radio show. You can listen to those shows there. I'm in the process of building that page of archives. Once I put them on that show, once I put the show on that, an episode on that archive, it will come off of the current available shows on the Spreaker page, Spreaker.com. So we're clear on that. So if you don't see the show on Spreaker page, so shall we say live, then you can find it dead in the archives. No, not dead, just not visible to the naked eye on the radio show page. So I thought I'd just chime in there and let you know that. The other day, got a call from a publisher. It's one of those self-publishing outfits. And the guy that called me probably wouldn't think of himself as one of those vanity press agents. But his company is pretty much a glorified printing company. So what I want to talk about here today is the fact that we had a pleasant little conversation. I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, and a nice guy. Everything's cool, but being who I am and considering what I do in the expression department, in the creative field, being an artist, an author, poet, musician, songwriter, you name it. I do all kinds of creative things. One of the things I do is I write books. I write stories, book length. Some are small books. I mean, it's conceivable that I can have a short story in book form and it'll only be, say, 25, 30, 40 pages. It's common practice, and I've noticed this on, say, Amazon, where to write a short story, and instead of putting a bunch of those short stories in one volume, they'll make each story a volume. So they have like a series of short stories, and each one is in its own book form. So you might have a book that has as little as, well, I've seen them, but it appears to be something like 15 pages. I think maybe there's no limit or minimum pages for an ebook. You can have an ebook that's like, I don't know, 5 pages, I suppose. But at any rate, you buy these books, and they sell them on Amazon mostly for like 99 cents a piece. They're little short things. You can read them pretty much in one setting. So, anyway, he was talking to me. Anyway, my short stories, I can, my thing, if it's actually a print copy, actually printed like on paper in book form, like a real book, which I like. I've always liked real books. I like the feel. I like to hold them and turn the pages myself. And sometimes books are pretty. And sometimes, as in my case, well, not even sometimes, when I create a book and formulate it into a book, and it is printed as a book between covers, mostly softback covers, not a whole lot of hardback copies of my books. I can get hardback copies, my books. I simply ask for that and pay the difference when I purchase them for my own use, for example. Like if I wanted to distribute my first poetry book, which is on Amazon, called Words in a Row, Book 1, 2nd edition. I order extra copies for myself, and I get them wholesale, of course, or at cost. And then I can hand them out to people as gifts or distribute them to local bookstores, etc. And one particular bookstore, I took the book, I left it, I left the information like my name and phone number, address, email, so on, with the clerk working there, and I gave them a couple of boxes of used books for free. I said, here, you can just have these, and you can sell them for whatever you sell used books for, and so you can make some money from those books. I assume you can sell them. Just general books. Not my books, just books that I've collected and I've read and I don't need anymore. I rarely read something twice, as far as fiction and so on. There's just too much to read to bother reading the same story over again, even though I enjoyed it the first time very much, immensely. So what I did was I left it there. Now this is coming up on 2 years ago that I actually left a book there for the owner of the bookstore to evaluate and decide if she wanted to sell my book for me, or put it on her shelves of her bookstore. And it's a local bookstore, not a chain outfit as far as I know. And I left it, and I with the expectation that the owner of the bookstore would check my book out, decide that it was worthy of being on the shelves of her store, and that she would offer it to sell. And in my grandiose fashion way of thinking, I actually expected her to call me back and talk to me and say, yeah, read your book, it's okay, it's good, maybe even really great or whatever. And it's not the greatest poetry book in the world, but hey, I did it, so I'm kind of proud of it. And then she would call me back, and we would talk and discuss it, and we would talk about the price, and maybe in my grandiose imagination, I thought maybe she might even suggest that I would have a book signing in her store or something of that nature, where I could actually be there, and people would come in, and I would sign my book, and they would buy it, and it would be great. I'd sell books. Because I would think, local people have an interest in local artists and poets and so forth, authors. I think. Should be. Should. Because it's like, oh, there's a book by McClung. I know him. I live down the street from him. And I said, I'll buy that because let's see what he's up to. Let's see what he can do. And hopefully they enjoy it and say, and are grateful and, and don't regret spending as in the case of Amazon, it's $7.50. That's not a lot of money. Hell, a pack of cigarettes cost you that much, almost. In some places. So the upshot of all that is, she never called me back. Never. Not once. Nothing. Zip. Zero. She'd been totally silent. It's like I didn't even go there. I didn't even leave the book. Didn't even give her my information. Didn't, It's like I just didn't exist. And it's been almost 2 years. Now, what kind of business woman, it's a woman that owns the store, what kind of business person does that? Like, just totally ignores a potential source of revenue by putting my book on the shelf in your store. I mean, people come in and buy it, and then, she makes profit. What kind of business person ignores, what would I call it, their vendors or their suppliers of materials that they can sell? Who does that? Now, I'm not concerned about the fact that she owes me money for the book. I mean, I didn't give it to her for free. I gave it to her on condition she would sell it and give me money. It wasn't a gift. But if it was a gift, then, at the very least, you should have been polite and called me back and thanked me for the gift. At the very least. Duh. I have called the store several times. Multiple times. And I got, sometimes I got a recording. So apparently the cashier, the clerk that was working there that day, because this woman owns the store, but she's an absentee owner. I mean, what they say, she comes in like in the mornings every day, like in the mornings for a little while or whatever, before she goes to her day job. I guess, I don't know. She has another business or something she operates, and I'm insulted. I am offended. Now, it doesn't make me a victim. It doesn't mean that somebody's committed a crime against me. It's personal. It was rude of her not to contact me back. It was rude of her to ignore me. And it was rude of her at least not to, It's just rude and insulting and offensive and stupid. And there's no excuse. Now, I realize there could have been an excuse. I mean, there could be a fact that maybe she's like in a coma and has been in a coma for the past 2 years. And thus she couldn't have looked at my book or read it and evaluated it and decided whether she wanted to keep it and sell it or not. I mean, she could have been in a coma for the past 2 years, but, I'm pretty sure she's not in a coma. Because the people the clerk at the store said, nah, she's not in a coma. She's alive and well, and she comes in once in a while. I've seen her. Yes, she really exists. The fact is, I saw her back probably, 2.5 years ago or so, maybe 3. Because I was there at that time, she just happened to be there. And it wasn't like early in the morning, it was like in the afternoon. Anyway, not a word from her. Not one word. No email, no phone calls, no letters in the snail mail. Nothing. Absolutely not a single word. Like I said, this is personal. I'm not talking about legalities. I'm not talking about any universal principle of business here. Well, yeah, kind of. Universal rule is that if someone comes into your place of business, if you're a bookstore, for example, and gives you a book to consider for sale in your store, you do offer the courtesy of replying to them, responding to them. If nothing else, just say thanks for letting me look at your book and consider it. Something. But this woman has totally fucking ignored me. Totally ignored me. For 2 years almost. 2 years. Now, you might be saying something like, so big deal, it's just a book and it's just one store and there's lots of other stores and, who cares? Well, I'm kind of picky about this. I think anybody is going to... I gave her 2 boxes of books for free, by the way. For free. Didn't charge her a dime. Hundreds of dollars worth of books that she can sell or whatever and make 100% profit because she didn't have to pay anything for the resources that she was selling. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure that she didn't throw those books away. It's a resource for her business. It's material that she can use to sell to make money. So it wasn't like, I mean, if I wanted to throw them away, I could just throw them away myself. But I kind of hate to throw away books. I give them to Goodwill or whatever. Recycle them, so to speak. So other people can read them. Not a fucking word from this woman. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Total silence. She's not in a coma. She's not in another country, on vacation for the past 2 years. She's actually alive. She actually exists. She's actually doing business. She actually shows up in the store from time to time. They assured me that she did, and I did. I believe that because I was there one time when she was there. And this was way before the book deal came about. At that time, I just wanted to go in and see what kind of books they had and maybe buy something. And, sort of thing. Browse through the store and see what they got. And I talked to her a little bit. Not a fucking word. 2 years. It's unbelievable. Unbelievably rude. Unbelievably insulting. Unbelievably just irresponsible of her. And yes, I'm picky. Because I think I deserve some consideration. I think I deserve some respect. At least in regards to being an author and a person who has a book that I would like to have sold in her store. Now, if she'd have just called me back like a couple days later and said, I've looked at your book, read it, and I wasn't impressed. I think it was a pretty lousy book. I'm not going to sell it in my store. I'm not going to offer it for sale in my store. And then if she'd have said that, then I said, fine, give me back the copy I gave you, loaned to you to look at and consider, or pay me the cost, whatever the price would be. And that would have been the end of it. And I would have never went back into her store again to look or buy or even to offer any of my books in the future to her, because obviously she was an asshole. No, but she's being honest and did that and talked to me and told me, sorry, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to handle your books at this time or whatever. Anything is better than total silence, is what I'm saying. Anything. Even a put down. Even a sharp, nasty criticism of my book would have been sufficient. I would have said, very well, it's your store, it's your business, you're right. And I would have moved on. But nope, she still has the book, and she hasn't paid me for it, and she hasn't talked to me. And I am absolutely appalled. I mean, seriously. It's just totally unbecoming. All right, take a break for a second. So, can you blame me for being a little peeved at this woman? I mean, seriously. What if it was you? What if it happened to you? Would you, like, say, well, there are different kinds of people and different ways of reacting to things, but wouldn't you feel just a little bit hurt by this kind of behavior? This is a professional businesswoman. And, as long as I don't hear from her, it's like, oh, well, she's just being rude to me for no reason. Surely there's no reason. I mean, there must be a reason. Why would anybody not respond to someone like that in 2 years? What reason could she possibly have for totally ignoring me? Now, you see, this is not just about me. I'm not saying that, I'm not butthurt just because it's me. I mean, do you think she treats anybody else that way? Do you think anybody else that came in there and said, hey, I got a book, I'm local and I got a book and I would like to have it in your store, so you can sell it for me? That'd be great, wouldn't it? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Are there others like me out there that she's ignored for maybe longer than 2 years? I mean, I really honestly don't understand. Is it possible, you think? Now, see, you speculate, because when you don't have anything to go on, when you don't have anything to determine what reasons a person would have for not talking back, responding to me, your imagination is free to go wherever it wants. I can just think whatever I want about this situation, about this woman. I can speculate on why, because that's all I got. I don't have any evidence to support any, specific reason why she didn't contact me back. So I'm free to make assumptions. I mean, it's a perfectly rational, logical thing to say, well, if she won't tell me why, then I'll just make up whatever I think is the reason why. I'll come up with something that makes sense to me. And the only thing that can make sense to me is that she just doesn't like me. She just doesn't like me. She's being intentionally rude and disrespectful to me, personally, because she doesn't like me. Maybe she just thinks I'm not a good person. Maybe she thinks I'm evil. Maybe, I don't know. I'm speculating because I have no reason. I don't have anything to go by here. I've got nothing to play off of, like her response, if she would give me one. So all I can do is speculate for the time being until I actually find out the real reason why she's being rude and disrespectful to me. I mean, it's personal. It's not like, I'm like the god of the world and I'm gonna strike her down with lightning or anything. But it just absolutely boggles the mind. Can't imagine. So I do imagine. But I can't imagine the real reason. I can only speculate on the real reason. And I'm speculating that she's obviously living under the impression that I'm not worthy of being responded to, or that I'm a bad guy, or whatever. I mean, she must have, maybe she Googled me and found out that I'm very outspoken on various issues. I don't know. And I have no way of knowing. All right, this episode, this segment is over. Time's up, and I'm going to leave you. And if you have any idea, or if you are her or know her, get with it. Let's talk to me. Let's not continue this rudeness. All right, I'll catch you later. D. McClung, Art to Monologues.